Will this be the year that you just go for it?
I want a raise!
It's probably not the best way to ask for it.
We're talking about asking for a raise at work. Not an easy thing to do for most people.
So we have some suggestions that will hopefully get you to actually receive the raise. And Michael Miller is here. He's a motivational speaker. And you have some ideas on what actually works.
Yes, yeah. You know, it's the new year, right? So how about some new money?
Yeah, well, but the thing is, I look, you know, I got all these bills built up from over the holidays, and I'm thinking, I just should be happy with what I have so I can pay these bills. But you're saying that's time to just maybe grab the bull by the horn and say, it's time to get a raise.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, we always kind of play the timing game. What's the timing game? If it's time to kind of cough up, get your boss to cough up, it's time to do it for you. And it's a good time in the new year to, you know, kind of seize the energy to make something better for yourself as the year opens.
So here's some concrete steps. And the first one is you want to determine why you deserve it. And this is going to take some role playing. You got to think about, like, what does your boss see or what does your boss need?
Exactly. This is the chance to put yourself in your boss's shoes. And how have you contributed? How have you gone over and above, done more than maybe your colleagues? Or really, if you stayed overtime a lot, put yourself in the boss's shoes, and how have you been an asset that's maybe above and beyond or more valuable, right? Two reasons for doing that. One is because that's going to be the basis for getting the money. But the second reason is it gives you confidence. You're like, yeah, I've done these things. And that can be empowering if you think about it. And remember, it's not bragging. You're not boasting about yourself. You're figuring out what your actual contribution has been.
And I always found that the best way to do something is to find out that you've saved the company money. Like, you know, you're a financial asset as opposed to a space maker, a space taker-upper. You're actually saving the company.
Yes. You figured something out that saves money, or you were less worried about what you were getting to complete a project, and that brings, you know, better finance to the company as well. So you're right.
And you say we shouldn't just go in and like talk about, oh, and theoretically I deserve a raise. You need to go in with a number, determine an amount.
I think we make a
percentage or actual end up
Well,
number?
That's the interesting thing, right? So how are you paid? That's how I think about it. If you're an hourly person, then calculate how much more you want to make and add that to your hourly rate. So I want $5 more an hour. Right? Now, you've already done the math to figure out what that means a month and in a year, right? But if you make an annual salary, if you're a salaried person, then maybe you want to figure out a percentage. I want a 5% raise, right? So the thing is, to go in without a number is to leave your fate to your boss or to the person who's the decision maker.
Do you go higher than what you really want?
I think reasonable and fair is the way you want to go with this, right? Because remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You want to keep your salary growing through the lifespan of your career. I think if you kind of go in with something ridiculous, it gives them a reason to say no.
Some people might go in with something ridiculous and hope for half.
Yes, right.
Is that a negotiating tool?
Yes. You know, you have to think about your supervisor. Do you know the person who's the decision maker about whether you'll get the raise or not? Like, so what's the game to play? But I think information is the power, right? So if you don't know where you fall for real, salary.com, indeed.com, monster.com, each one of those websites has a salary section where you simply enter your position and it gives you salary information. So you can play the game from a position of knowledge and information. And when you find that you're making less, what a great way to get in there and make that happen.
I'm just going to go to my coworkers and say, hey, what do you make?
No, actually, Mika Brzezinski in her book says men are very good about always knowing what their competitors are making. Women tend not to ask, but that we should know what our cohorts are making. And there's a lot of states that are starting to go through salary transparency laws, which would make it easier on everyone.
Yes, I mean, for most state employees, even in Connecticut, you can find out what they make. So it's fields and industries. And by the way, if you're in an arcane industry, your professional organization also might do a salary analysis. So you can look at where you are in whatever field you're in, whatever job you do, how much is the range of salary. And
I wonder if I put in meteorologist, would it come up? Like,
I think it
would come up. Yeah. All right, you say number 3, ask for it.
Yeah. Now this is
the top. This is the top. I'm nervous just thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly. This is the time when is the time when you want to shrink back, right? And it's not the time to do it. It's not the time, because when you go in, you have to. First of all, I think there's a 3-step process with this, and it's funny because my mom, who was a biller in an insurance agency, she also was trained as a secretary. And they used to give her extra secretarial assignments, right? And so once she wrote a note to her boss, and she wrote, executive secretaries make $10 more an hour than I do. And she left it
on his desk.
Right now, I think that's a passive-aggressive way of doing it. So I don't recommend that. However, it paid off for my mother. It did. Yeah, they were like, they called her in and they did it. That's not going to work most of the time, I don't think. So have your number ready. Know why you deserve it. Go in, get favor. I think the first thing you do is you get agreement. I've done these things, right?
Yeah.
And now I think I deserve this amount, and say the number and look that boss right in the eye. Do not shrink away, and that's our tendency. We want to look away.
And they say it's okay to have silence too. You can just pause and keep looking, right? That's what the book says.
Yes, and that's what I say. Practice silence. Put it out there, and then wait for the reaction. We have a tendency to want to fill their space.
Well, if you can't do that, that's okay. But maybe
this. Exactly, and all the while weakening your argument for what you did. So wait, and then when they have a reaction, then react to that.
Is it safe to have an alternate plan? I have an offer. Do you go to them and say, do you threaten a little bit?
I never would recommend lying.
Okay, but if you do.
But if you do, oh my gosh, that's the best.
You have to just be willing to go, but you should definitely say.
Yes, it's a bargaining tool completely. And you can always make a decision to stay, but you're right. If you're going to negotiate, that implies that you're going to walk away. Right? In this case, you're asking for the raise. And by the way, my hope is that you get it, obviously, and a lot of times you do. A lot of times they're like, yep, yeah, we're going to do what we can. But sometimes it's like, give me 2 months, give me until the mid-quarter result. Then you have cha-ching in the bank. You put your request in, now you're going to wait a little bit. That's okay too. But you have to follow up. You have to folf up when they put you off. Right.
Final thought?
Squeaky wheel gets the grease. And you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? So it's cliche city here, right? But it's the fact. If you sit there thinking you're going to get what you deserve and then stew about that, that's not a way to live at work. Go in there and ask for what you think you deserve. The worst thing is they say no. You have nothing to lose and a raise to gain.
Perfect. Thank you, Michael. To learn more about Michael, check out his website, michaelmillerspeaks.com.